Hi, my name is Nathan, and I'm a music producer based in Vancouver. And today I'll be making a short presentation on what I've learned as a music producer in the city, and I will also be sharing some tips on those who would like to follow this career path in the city. Just a bit about me. So, like I said, my name is Nathan. I'm originally from Congo, but actually I haven't grown up there because of my dad's job. Like we had to move around a lot. So I've actually had to live in Congo, Kenya, Ivory Coast, Gabon, Togo before coming in Vancouver in 2016. And how that has helped me is now when I discovered my love for music, that versatility and the fact that I was able to live in a different culture has actually helped me to actually shape the kind of music I'm making, and whatever the genres I'm making, I've been able to add my own salt and my own flavor on it. That has been helping me. Differentiate myself from the crowd of other producers that are here. Now, my producer name, people know me as Cheetah. Now, someone was why Cheetah? So, when I was thinking about the name, I was thinking about something that will represent me, something that will differentiate me. So, and also something that will represent me. So, the name Cheetah actually comes from the fact that, like I mentioned before, I'm from Congo, and one of the animal that usually represent the Congo is the leopard. But then I was thinking, okay, if I have to make something like that name, it wouldn't be as attractive or as catchy. But then I also thought, I've always been told that I'm a very fast learner, provided that I actually put my mind into it. So that when I put those two concepts together, that's why I came up with Cheetah. At the beginning, it wasn't really as catchy as I expected, but with time, as I was working with more artists, the name got solidified, and then that's how people know me right now. Originally, I was only making one genre, or if I would say two genres, mostly hip hop and trap music. So when I came here in 2016, most of the artists that I met and that I was working with were in that style. But the style I was doing of trap was what is more prominent in Europe and West Africa. So that this is the kind of trap music that I was doing. When I came here, I realized that their style, that their version of trap music and hip hop is actually different, more particular. So I actually had to tone down and also adjust the way I'm making my beats so that I could relate more with those artists and also being able to sell more to them. But then, as time passed, I was actually privileged to meet, to be in the room with like different artists that had different perspective on music. Let's say some would like to try soul music, some would like to try R&B, some would like to try Afrobeat. But then at the time, I wasn't knowledgeable or even like skilled in doing those genres. But my advantage was that those people were actually my friends. So we actually took a lot of time just like experimenting and then just having fun trying to create different songs in those genres. And then over the years, as we were experimenting with these artists, and the more they also referring me to other artists that were doing those genres, that's actually how I was actually able to diversify now the kind of production I'm doing. So now instead of like just doing hip hop and trap, now I'm able to do hip hop, trap, R&B, soul, Afrobeat, house, amapiano, you just name it. So right now I don't define myself as like a specific genre producer. I'll just tell people, okay, what is the sound that you have in your head, and I'm actually able to actually bring it to life. Some good milestones that I've been able to achieve. One that I can mention is in 2022. So I don't know if there'll be any people who listen to Christian hip hop or Christian music. If they do, they might know artists like Lecrae and Tedashii. In 2021, I was able to connect with one of their A&R. And from there, I was able to build like a very good connection, and then I'll be sending beats to him like here and there. And one day, there was one beat that one of the artists, Tedashii, actually picked. They sent me the demo, and then turns out that she liked the song, and then I got all the paperwork, anything for the song to be used. And then when 2022 came, there was the International Basketball Federation, to whom they actually pitched the song. Because during that period, they were looking for a theme song for the competition that was going to go from September to November. And it turns out that the song they picked was the one that produced. And that honestly was like a very big milestone for me, because after that I started to get like more requests like from artists in the city that actually now recognize that the work that I'm actually doing is actually good, and then that's how I've been able to expand a bit more the reach of the music I'm doing. When it comes to making beats, there are a lot of tricks and a lot of lessons I've learned. For instance, there isn't really a bad idea as long as you're actually able to create like a good bounce or create like a certain atmosphere that actually help people to stay in a certain mood, in a certain atmosphere, in a certain like universe that you're trying to create. But as a producer, I've had to learn to keep it simple, because when you're just creating for yourself, you just tend to just crowd the beat with like instruments. Yes, it might sound good, but then we are trying to have the beat speak for itself. Well, as a producer, you have to remind yourself that it's important to actually keep the beat as simple as possible, because the beat isn't here to tell the story. The beat is here to as a platform for the artist to tell his story. And through that, now I've also learned the importance of networking when it comes to getting placement. So you could be a bedroom producer. You actually like the fact that you're making music in your room or in your own space, and you're in your own zone. That's actually how you're actually able to make your best creations. But then when it comes to reaching out to people, sometimes you'll try to DM people on Instagram, maybe participate in some contest to win some prizes. All that is good, but somewhere it doesn't really replace the need to actually network and actually try to go out there and then meet other people, other artists. I think it's actually not that hard, because there are many places you can meet artists. It can be at a festival. Those who like to go out to parties, like most likely some parties in the city, you'll be able to meet some artists. But then if you want something like more specific, there are communities such as Beat Cave. So Beat Cave is one of the community I'm part of, and what they do, they actually have multiple events in Vancouver, like every month, where they actually bring industry professionals who have had like a lot of experience when it comes like to the music industry, not only in Canada but in the US. They will come to share their knowledge, to share their experience, and also help young artists and producers to elevate their sound. But also, it's actually a community to actually bring those artists and producers together, artists that you maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to actually reach out to each other. They have created that space where every month you can actually meet different artists and different producers, just talk, have like nice conversation, and each of those sessions they always have a creative time where like we have like multiple studio space available, and for about 2-3 hours we're all together just having a good time, just creating. And then from there, that's how good and relevant partnerships are created. Now, how do a producer get paid? There are different ways that I've learned. As a producer, first by selling beats, obviously, but then even when it comes to selling beats, how can the beats generate your money? So if you are like me when I started and selling beats online, let's say you have a YouTube page, or let's say you have there's this website called BeatStar. It's a bit like SoundCloud, but more for producers. So if you have more of that online approach, you can just sell your beats on those platforms. People will come, listen to it, and then they want to buy it. They can either pay right away on the website, or they can just reach out to you. So in that, there are two ways you can do that. You can either sell your beats as a lease or as an exclusive. The main difference is the lease is less expensive than the exclusive. The exclusive can go usually from like 200, 300 to whatever the artist might offer. And the lease are usually cheaper. When you're starting, usually around 30, 50 for the beat. It's actually reasonable. Now the difference is with the lease, the artist is able to use the beat for a time. But if someone else wants the same beat, you can sell that same beat to another artist. So with the lease, you can sell the same beat multiple times. With the exclusive, like you said, once the artist pays that fee, the beat is for them. You're not able to sell it to someone else. Now, when those beats are sold and then the song is out, how do you get money? There are different ways. First, from royalty, for publishing, or also for syncing. So royalties, pretty much anything associated with streaming platform, Apple Music, Spotify. Usually producers get 1 to 2% from that. Publishing and sync are somehow related, in the sense that it concerns mostly whenever the song is used in a festival, in the radio, placed in a movie, or on a TV show, like etc. And then those fees that are usually associated from that, usually the producer can get up to 40% for that. Now, those numbers may not look like a lot in some cases. Yeah, let's take Drake for example. He had 2 songs. There was Two Seasides, and then there was, let's take the song he did with Travis Scott, Sicko Mode. Now, song Sicko Mode, there were 6 producers in there. So, how did he get paid and how much the song generated? So from a study that I looked up, based on the number of streams that the song did, all those producers, like I mentioned before, producers for the royalty section, they will get up to 2%, like from the total revenue. And then because the song was actually played in a lot of festivals, etc., now there was a certain amount that was gathered, and then all those producers had to share 40% of that amount. So now, when it comes to the 2% from the royalties from the streaming platform, plus the 40% of publishing, because there were 6, they had to divide it equally among the 6 producers. But then the song did so well that the share for each producer was around $100,000 just for the same beat. Now, Two Seasides, on the other hand, there was only 1 producer. So now the song again did so well that the same principle applied. So for the 2% for the royalties plus the 40% from the publishing came to around 1.2 million for that same producer. So when you look at it, again, like, so pretty much just to say that the better the song is doing, the better your share is. But usually those actually apply when you have the chance to actually work with like big artists that have a really wide audience. But then when you're just starting, like the royalties and the publishing might not apply to you right away. So you'll be mostly be making money for either selling beats as like exclusive to local artists or online for when other artists wants to use your beat as it is. There is a difference when they say there's a difference between a producer and a beat maker. Both of them make beats, but then it's up to you to decide what you want to do. If what you all want to do is just make the beat and then you don't really care about how the song is done, what's the whole vision behind the song, etc., what the artist will do on it, then you're most likely just a producer, and that's fine. But if you want to call yourself a producer, you have to do a bit step further. Usually when you be starting, you might be seen as just like a beat maker, because not all artists that will necessarily want the person who made the beat to also be involved into like how the song should go, what kind of flow you should use, and that's fine. But then as long as you have the mindset that at some point you actually want to be involved into what's the message, what's the ambience and atmosphere you actually want the song to actually be carried, that's when you call yourself a producer. The beat maker just thinks about the beat and it's done. The producer thinks about the whole process, the recording, the mixing, the rearranging, and then sometimes you can even go a step further to try to be involved into how the music video should look like, what type of cover arts should be there. From there, you're even expanding from just being a music producer to also maybe become an A&R or an executive producer. So with that kind of experience, the further you try to be involved in the creative process, the more you're actually making yourself stand out from like just any regular producer and actually thinking more as like a businessman and an executive producer. Some ways that you want to stand out: treat your artists like people. Treat them and try to care for them beyond just the music, because that will actually translate in the dynamic that you guys have, the respect that they'll give you, and also the respect they'll give you, and also translate into the music. From my experience, I always try to apply that to the point where some artists, when for some reason they will try to go to maybe like fancier studios at the time, they wouldn't be able to do songs that are as beautiful or as well mixed. Not really because of like the skills of the engineers. Granted, because those engineers, they had better studios, better equipment, better experience, but because they were so used to the fact that I was actually involved in the process of the song. I was treating the song as if it was my own, really trying to show them I actually want them to succeed. But then when they try to switch to other engineers who just think about, okay, I'm just coming to the studio. You're supposed to be here from 1 to 2 p.m. I don't care what you do. Just record, and then just record one. Come on time at 1. Once 2 p.m. comes, even if like the song is not done, you just pay me for my time, and then you just go and have another client. Maybe you'll be able to get the song done, and then it'll sound decent, or sound like even good. But then usually most of those artists are not happy with like the final result. But what I try to do is, when they're trying a certain flow, I try to ask them question. Why did you do this flow? For this section, what about this? For this part, something is missing. Can you add an ad-lib here? If there's no ad-lib, okay, maybe let me take this section from the end. Let me put it at the beginning. I try to show them, okay, how we can be creative, like with their own song. I'm trying to show them new ways that they have not thought of, like how the song could go. And trust me, this can actually go a long way. Because when it comes to this industry, your character and how you show yourself as a person actually matters more than the skill itself. People would rather work with people that are actually comfortable and who believe in them than necessarily going to work with someone who quote unquote is better and who can actually be better but actually does not care about people. So your character matters even more than just the skills. Another lesson I've learned is, as much as a producer, as much as we try to work with like big artists, Drake, Beyonce, or you just name it, sometimes we can be so focused on looking at those artists that are at the top because we want want to produce a song that goes gold, a song that goes platinum, a song that goes that wins a Grammy. All that are good goals. But the fact that you forget is like, all those people, they got there because they had their own team. During that time when they were also starting, they also had the people who were above them, people they were looking up to. But then they pretty much grew up to that level with people that were on the side. And that's something I've learned from one of Lecrae's producers. He told me something that was actually quite profound. He told me, as much as I've tried to work with like those big artists, I have to remember that, okay, the next Grammy or the next platinum song that I'm looking for might just be sitting next to me. Even if your goal is simply just like to get those numbers and get to the top, that's actually good. But then you might just be another producer that actually somehow made it. But then if you think like within the context of the city, okay, do you want actually be a producer that has, let's say, has worked with Drake, or that has worked with like artists that have made it? Or would you actually like to be among those people who actually be part of a movement to actually put the city and Vancouver on the map? Because those people, when you think about LA, when you think about New York, when you think about Atlanta, when you think about Toronto, those people were pretty much just like most of us here. They're just like underground. They just work together to actually make the city, like to put their own city on the map. So probably maybe at the time they were making as much money. Maybe they were working like those big artists at the time. But the fact that, okay, they decided to just come together and work with like people that were at their level, accessible, and come together. Not only with time, they were able to actually get to the level of those people they were looking up to. They were actually able to make even more money than what they were thought of. But then instead of just being big artists that maybe have like a couple of like hit songs here and there, they actually became classics, they actually became legends. So now you have to think about it. So what do you want? You just want to be a one-time or like a producer that has a few hit songs. Maybe if that's the case, that's fine. Or would you rather, or you have to think, would you rather to be one of like this, like we say, one of the legends, one of the OGs of the city who actually were actually able to pioneer your way into making the city? But for that, what you have to remember is try to treat it as more than just making music, making beats for artists. Also remember why you actually started. Some of you, okay, you might have started because, okay, maybe let's say life wasn't as what you have expected to be, and then music was sort of your way of escape. So now you're trying to tell your story to that, or you're actually now trying like to use that to actually help people tell the story to actually and help other people, which is actually good. So you can, like I said, try to treat it as a mission, and when things get tough, always try to remember why you started. Always remember to stay humble about it, who knows that you still have like growth to do, but carry yourself as someone who deserves to be in the room. When you make those big artists, or even locally artists that are starting to make some move that you look up to, treat them as people. They're people just like us, and trust me, that will actually make you stand out even more. Because treating them as people that you respect, but again, just as like regular people, just like you and I, you actually see, okay, that you are not just a yes man or someone who is just there, who is just like interested into who they are as an artist, but you actually respect them as a person as well. And remember, as a producer, it's not really about you. It's about the artists that you're helping. It's about the impact you're making on their lives. So in a way, even if it's just one artist that you're able to help, as long as you're making impact into their lives, you're never really using it. Also, feel free, if you have more questions, I would like to know more about music productions, get some tips on how to make better beats, mixing, and how to be more creative. You can always feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.